On today's show, Naji Marshall dominates, but not enough for the Dallas Mavericks. They lose against the Knicks, and the Mavs are getting a new arena. We got a date. We'll tell you about that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm going to get a city like that.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great, Husky.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave me alone.
Your team every day.
Gotta be born with it, dog blood.
And welcome. You're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer. Making Locked On Mavs your first listen. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. And joining me, as always, on the postgame prodigy from the great Slightly Biased YouTube channel. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
Next time I'm on this show, the champions will have started their season.
The Rangers? The Texas Rangers?
The soon-to-be two-time champions.
Okay. You heard it here first. We also have a Locked On Rangers. Go check out Bryce's great work over there.
Yeah, that's right.
On today's show, the Mavs are getting a new arena. Rick Welts was on the broadcast, Mavs CEO, and we got a date for it. And so we'll talk about some of that and some of the news that's been happening around that. And the Mavs lose to the New York Knicks, but let's start here slightly. The knife, Naji Marshall. We talked about him a lot last game. He's been absolutely awesome. 12 games now with 15 straight points, worth 15 points or more. He had 38 points on 17 of 25 from the field. In the first half, he was dealing 28 points on 13 of 15 from the field. 38 points with only one made three. That's only 11 players have done that this season, and Naji Marshall now is one of them, joining that group. Absolutely wild to see him. It was a Naji Marshall versus Cat showdown. What did you see from Naji Marshall in this game?
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what we've been saying, where this new sort of frantic pace that the Mavs play at really kind of suits Naji's game. Over the last 10 games, the Mavs are 7th in pace. So we've seen it pick up for them. And a lot of that is just out of necessity, right? Because their offense is without really anybody. So it's kind of crazy. If you look at the last 10 games for the Mavs, they're 13th in offense, which,
wow.
When you consider AD's played one game there, I don't know if you go back 10 games, how far you have to go back for Kyrie's injury, but it's really been defense where they've been getting killed. But, you know, they've been pushing the ball with a ton of pace over that stretch. And Naji's a big reason for that. And when he gets going downhill, I mean, we've talked about this all season long. The floater, and it kind of, there was a stretch in the middle of the season where the touch sort of abandoned him when he was coming back from that, you know, strange illness. Right. The illness that KP got that no one knows what it, I mean, there's these strange illnesses going around. I don't know if you follow baseball at all. Mookie Betts on the Dodgers, they're like, yeah, we don't know what it is, but he's lost 15 pounds and he can't keep anything down. I'm like, he's still with the team.
Sounds familiar.
KP was still with the team. I'm like, should these guys be in a bubble somewhere? Like, honestly,
oh my gosh! Don't start that. Don't start that again.
Well, I'm just saying, like, these illnesses, they're literally going up like, yeah, we don't know what this illness is, and it won't go away. It's like, dude, I don't want you near me, please.
Mookie Betts, don't touch any microphones.
yes, dude, please. Please. And there's one thing we can learn for the last 5 years: do not touch microphones sarcastically, because whatever higher powers out there is not like that. But no, yeah. The pace in which the Mavs have been playing at really helps Naji Marshall out, because he can get into the paint and get to that floater, and he just rises up so fast that even if there is a defender who's moving their feet well, which happened a few times tonight, where OG, Mikal, you know, Precious was on him a few possessions, move their feet pretty well, and we're in front of him. But all he needs is just a sliver of space, and he just rises up so quick on that floater. So just another great game from Naji.
He gets off the floor pretty quick, and he holds and throws that floater up. It doesn't matter which side of the rim he's on. Like, you look at his shot chart, and it is just, it's kind of a beautiful thing. There's just so many green dots in the paint. It's just over and over again, him getting those shots off. And he lets a defender like fly by him. He does the thing that Luka does, where he just gets a defender on his hip and holds him there, and then all of a sudden he stops and they fly by him, and he rises up, like you said, and rises up over him. Just awesome. And the Knicks do struggle. They struggle defending the rim. They struggle with that like mid shot, and if you can take it, then they're going to give it to you. And Naji Marshall was taking it over and over and over again. And he was really, besides Brandon Williams, got some Jaden Hardy and some Spencer Dinwiddie buckets here and there, but he was the only one really that had anything going for the Mavericks offensively.
Yeah, and I think we saw some of, and assuming he's still on the team next year, which I hope he is. I'm interested to see because they need to go get a ball.
That could have been about anybody, by the way.
Right. I mean, you just have to preface it because you have to preface it with any player on the team. Because also, if you talk about a player next year, you're going to get comments that are like, dude, next year, he's not even going to be on the team. Like, I know. Like, let's just, if he's on the team next year, the Mavs will go get a ball handler, right? They have to. Like, they're going to do something to go get a ball handler. They're going to address that area of need. But I'm interested about Naji's role on the team next year. If it looks more like, especially with Kyrie sideline to start the season, if it looks more like a 6-man off the bench, you're leading the offense, the second unit. Like, you have the ball in your hands and you're creating for yourself and others, because I think that's a role that he could play. Like, we saw it at times in New Orleans. The way the injuries have been this year with the Mavs, you haven't really seen it. And the Mavs just have so many guards. I don't know if he's ever really had that opportunity, but yeah, I mean, what is it? His 6 highest scoring games of his career have all been this season. Like, he's been tremendous, and he's been a huge bright spot in what's otherwise been a disaster.
I think he's earned that he should be the guy coming off the bench too. Maybe run the second unit is not the way that you would put it for him, but to be the go-to scorer off the bench when you don't have a AD or a Kyrie on the floor, and especially if Kyrie's going to be out to start, he's going to be out to start the season, that Naji Marshall has earned the right to be that guy and to get more opportunities. Maybe not 25 shots in a game necessarily, but can you get him 12 next year? Can you get him to a spot where he's just getting more opportunities, that he's the one that's scoring off the bench, that it's not all right, Dinwiddie has to score for us or nothing is going to happen kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
That Naji has proven that he can score enough and score consistently enough that he can be a guy that gives you what you need off the bench while the rest of the guys get going. Man, it's just wild to see what he's turned into, especially since Kyrie's been out. And Kyrie has been out. This is now 11 games he's been out. So that number you mentioned has been all without Kyrie, and has been one game of AD where the Mavs are high in offense right now.
Yeah, that I would not have guessed that they would be top half of the league in offense with all of those guys missing. And Naji's a big reason why. So yeah, I've been really impressed with him. And it kind of goes back to this because this gets brought up, and the Mavs are easy targets right now. That graphic always circulates. The Mavs fumbled, and it's KP and it's Brunson, and then there's the Brunson story that recirculated again yesterday. Yep. I have to say how tired I am of talking about this over and over and over again. I'm tired of people mentioning me and stuff about it. I do not care. I don't want to rehash this 3 years later. It doesn't make any sense to me. I still feel like both parties got out well in that. Honestly, I know they fumbled by letting Brunson leave for nothing. That was the fumble. Brunson needed his own team and he needed to spread his wings and fly. Like, that's clear as day what needed to happen. And Kyrie, I think, was just better next to Luka as an off guard. I do. Like, I think it worked out. They made the finals, right? The Derrick Jones Jr. one still comes up. The decision was Derrick Jones Jr. and Naji. That was ultimately like the decision, because that was the contract. The number that one of those guys was getting, the contract that they got. Yeah. And I think Naji's better for this group than Derrick Jones Jr. would have been, although Derrick Jones Jr. is having a tremendous season. So for all of the very obvious things that you could make fun of the Mavs front office for, I don't know if the Naji decision is one of them.
No, that's one that they've won, and I'll stand on that. I said all offseason that I thought Naji Marshall would be better than Derrick Jones Jr. Now he's going to be different, and he has been different. His defense has not been at the level that I thought it would be at. I thought his defense would be comparable to Derrick Jones Jr.'s, and it has not been, I don't think, this season at all. But his offense has been way better in certain ways. He's not going to catch the lobs, but he can get his own shot, and that is something Derrick Jones Jr. never did, and a bunch of Mavericks wings have never really done ever for the Mavericks. And to have a guy like that, to have the dirty work wing and Naji and PJ, I love seeing those guys together. I love seeing what they bring to the court. And those guys have both stepped up in big ways and have been your leading scorer and been your guy that has the most shots on the team since they've had so many injuries. Yeah, and I'm hopeful we get to a point next year. Obviously, health is out the question immediately to start next year because Kyrie's out. But hopefully they're healthier than they are this year, and we get to see extended stretches of Naji being the role that I think you side out for him to be the 6th or 7th guy in your rotation, first, second guy off the bench, and the different things you can do with your bigs, with AD, with PJ, the lineups you can roll out there. Yeah.
I'm really interested to see it. It does give me something to look forward to for next season for sure. Like assuming that they're still on the team. They hung with this Knicks team that without Brunson obviously still should have taken care of business tonight, and they did absolutely. Props to the Knicks, but they were in it. The Mavs were in it for a lot of the game.
It's tied at halftime.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just you watch it, you're like, there's a lot of good role players on this team. It's just health is just been crazy.
It's been tough. Coming up, the Mavs are going to get a new arena. Let's talk about Rick Weltz's comments on the broadcast about when the Mavs' new arena is coming and why the Mavs are getting a new arena. Let's get into that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code Locked On NBA. I've used Game Time very recently. I love what Game Time can do. I used it to get some Rangers tickets because I'm going to go see the soon-to-be two-time world champion, according to Slightly Biased, Texas Rangers. See the Texas Rangers. So I love that I got to see the view from my seat. I love that I got to hit the all-in pricing feature, and then it'll tell me exactly what I'm going to pay at checkout at the beginning. I tried to use a different site, and I was like, oh, this is a cheaper price than on Game Time. I got to the end of it, and it was way more expensive because of all the hidden fees and things like that. So take it from somebody that uses it and that is happy using Game Time, that it is easier and better than all the other ones. Terms of take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem your code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off when you get your first purchase with Game Time. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, what we call our listeners. We appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show. We have a live show coming where we'll be there in person at Four Corners Brewery, April 8th, the day before Luka and the Lakers come back and play the Dallas Mavericks. Come hang out. It'll be like a therapy session, or it'll be just a rallying cry, or be something. We'll all be able to commiserate together. I'll be there. Isaac Harris will be there. Slightly biased in attendance.
Not all at once, guys. Not all at once.
And we'll have some other friends there probably as well. And it'll be a good time. Four Corners Brewery, 7 p.m., April 8th. Come join us. Come hang out. If you can come for 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, we'll do a show. We'll maybe do some questions, and then we'll just hang out and talk and just hang out as Mavs fans and just be there with everybody. So come enjoy that April 8th, Four Corners Brewery. All right, Slightly. I want to get into Rick Weltz's comments because I thought they were interesting. Rick Welts is the CEO of the Mavericks. He took over for St. Marshall when she retired. And he got on the broadcast and was answering some questions from Followell and Devin Harris about a bunch of things. He talked about the trade. He talked about their project setting up courts in Mexico and how they want to be Mexico's team, which I thought was interesting. But he also talked about the new arena. And this has been a big topic of conversation in the news, in city council meetings, and all kinds of stuff. These are the quotes by Rick Welts. Specifically, he said, we're going to take everything we know about presenting the sport of basketball and basically put it into this new arena to make it state-of-the-art and all that. We've started the process. We're engaged with the city. Our commitment is to find a home in Dallas. That's where we want to be. That's where the city wants them to be. We're going to pursue every possible option to make that happen. He also said, we need a new arena for the 2031-2032 season. And I think, to me, that's the first time I've heard an actual deadline for the arena. We've heard this, Amalgus, like, arena is coming, the new arena, the Las Vegas Sands are going to build this resort and all this stuff. But I think that's the first time I've heard an actual date for it. And I had a bunch of people ask me, well, why? What's the deadline for? What does it need? The Mavericks do not own the AAC. It's not their arena. They're leasing it, and so are the Stars, and their lease ends in 2031. And so that's why they have this deadline to create this new arena. And Rick Welts said, he's like, we've got our work cut out for it. We're on the clock right now to do that. That is not a lot of time, he said, to get this done. He's already had meetings with, the Irving City Council and other places, and Dallas City Council, to try and figure out where this is going to be and how they can get it done. I'm kind of skeptical of the statement, our commitment is to find a home in Dallas. That's where we want to be, when the Las Vegas Sands group is in Irving doing all this stuff, trying to figure out how they're going to start their resort and all that. That's where I'm still kind of, all right, how does this all fit together? Because it seemed like it made sense as a cohesive, all right, we're going to do the arena, the resort, the casino, the club, whatever else they're going to put up there. And then there was a Irving City Council meeting recently where they cleared the way for Las Vegas Sands to build something something up there. I guess just the resort, because the Las Vegas Sands withdrew part of the plans to get a casino and a nightclub because of all the backlash and all the talk there. And so I'm just sitting here as a Mavs fan, slightly. Thoughts on an arena potentially going in Irving and a new arena at all? Like, what are your thoughts when you hear the Mavs are going to get a new arena?
Well, that makes sense. 2031 would be about 30 years. It feels like the time frame usually for stadiums every 30 years or so. You sort of either move to a new building or do such expansive renovations on your previous building that it looks like a new building. So that's not that crazy to me. I don't know.
Like Theseus Arena.
Yes, this doesn't. I don't know. I expected this. I thought this. Admittedly, I thought this was kind of a known thing until I saw Twitter's reaction to this specific comment that the lease runs up in 2031 and that this is when the new arena would go. From what Cuban said, that was a big reason he sold the team, was that he knew a new arena was coming and he wanted people who were better at the real estate side of things to take over the team. That was one of the things he said when he sold the team. I'm not buying for a second. You have to, a lot of this stuff's going to be PR talk. If the Sands want it to be a casino resort stadium, that's what it's going to be. I know that you said they're building a resort. It's not a casino now because of the backlash.
They withdrew the Sands. Like, they withdrew it, which to me, my thoughts.
What though? It's not legalized.
They had plans to, like, all right, it's going to be a casino and a nightclub, and then they withdrew that part of the plan. To me, I think you make it so that it can potentially house something like that,
yes,
right?
Like,
you leave a bunch of empty space in it somewhere. Then as soon as it gets legalized, as soon as they get it was Dan Patrick, the lieutenant governor, as soon as they get him out of office there, then they figure out how to legalize gambling. Then they just do it all over again. But they do have to get approvals and zoning permits and like things like that. And there was a ton of people at that Irving City Council meeting where they didn't want that there. They didn't want to have that in their neighborhood and in their city. And that was interesting.
So the Texas legislators meeting in 2025. They meet every 2 years. Gambling is not getting passed. It has overwhelming support amongst voters, like 70% amongst Texan voters. It's going to happen. The problem is Governor Lieutenant Dan Patrick does not want it to happen. So that's why it doesn't happen. He's gone after 2025. It's not happening in this session.
This is not the Sports Center guy, Dan Patrick, by the way.
No, yes. I know.
When I first moved here, I was really confused. I was like, wait, what
It's confused me as well. It's a different person. But yes, it's not happening this session, this legislative session.
Yeah.
So yeah, get all of the you need PR points, get all the PR points you can. Guys, we're not doing the casino anymore. Like, well, all right, our bad. We're not going to do the casino.
Take it out of the plan.
Yeah. 2027 comes around, new guy. And by the way, the Sands, the Adelsons, they've been pouring in tens of millions of dollars into lobbying for gambling to be legalized.
It's $100 million, wasn't it?
It's been millions upon millions. You'd have to sit down and calculate all the different ones. And it dates back to years before they bought the team. So this has been in motion for them. And so when 2037 comes around, whatever politician they've paid X amount of millions of dollars and given millions of dollars to in donations.
Slightly biased for lieutenant governor.
Hey, if you want to give me millions of dollars, look, anything's on the table. But no, and by the way, I think there's an age limit and I'm nowhere close to it. So
a minimum age, you mean?
A minimum age. I'm nowhere close to it. So 2027, I would look towards, hey guys, actually that casino, that resort that we're building, we are going to add the casino. And actually, you know what? We're going to go ahead and put the Mavs Stadium there as well. Like, that's what I would expect, honestly.
Does a new arena excite you? Because I saw a lot of people respond, hey, the AAC is fine. Like, it's a good arena. Stop gaslighting me that it's not a good arena. I've been to other arenas. There are better arenas.
I would say it's perfectly average.
It is fine. You're right. It's fine. It does what it does, but it's fine from the consumer's perspective, right? There's so many other things that go with an arena that have to do with how players interact with it. They just redid the locker room a couple years ago. That was a big deal. They need more space. They could have a practice facility in the arena. They could do all kinds of different stuff with it. Going to Chase Center in 2022 and seeing that arena and then seeing the Mavs arena, I was like, oh, this is different. Like it is different when you go to a state of the art arena and see something like that and see what they can do with it and see just how nice it can be. The different places that people can hang out in the arena, out of the arena, all that kind of stuff. Like, it is just different. So I do think that it makes, like you said, 30 years, it makes sense that they would do a new arena. I thought they would do it under Cuban, even if he didn't sell the team when the lease came up. Like, that was what was the rumors back then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for an arena. Like, it's always fun building a new arena. Every time a new arena gets built, it feels like it's the newest one is the coolest one. So that'll be fun. If it's in a casino resort, I mean, that's cool to me too. Like, I don't know. It feels like it's inevitable that stuff's going to happen. So, yeah.
Is it just because I'm in it, and is it just because we had the trade and all the backlash for it? But has this seemed more contentious than even like the Cowboys moving to Arlington?
Well,
or am I forgetting how bad that was?
So I'm an Arlington hater, and I hate this city strongly, right? So them being in Arlington is a shame to me. The Rangers had always been there, but I hate the fact that they're there because it's such a nightmare getting to. The fact that American Airlines Center is just in the heart of downtown Dallas, not in the heart of downtown Dallas, but it's in it, right? You got a dart,
essentially,
right? You got a dart station that drops you off right there. That's incredibly rare in the city. So yeah, I love that aspect of it. Irving is close enough, in my opinion. I don't know where the exact location is that they're building that at, but isn't it like 10, 15 minutes away?
The spot where they own land was where old Cowboy Stadium was. That was the.
How far away is that from downtown? I'm bad at that stuff sometimes.
Irving is like right up right up like 35, right? It's like not even that long. It's like 15 minutes.
I would prefer it to be in the middle of downtown, truthfully.
Sure.
But I get how this stuff goes. I mean, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of, there's going to be taxpayer money. How much money should the taxpayers be throwing in? Like, it's going to get ugly and, whatever.
And that's the thing about our commitment is to find a home in Dallas. That's where we want to be. Okay. Well, show me the money, right? Like where's the money coming from, and where's the land, and it's probably so much cheaper to build in Irving and all that, right? Like,
right.
I think I even saw Fox 4 is building their new like place. They're leaving downtown and going to Irving. Like they broke ground on that.
Well, you'd also have to factor in, if you are bringing a casino resort, a city will probably pay you to build that straight up, because that's going to bring in a ton of money. So if you're adding a stadium onto that, I don't know, it becomes more the incentive for them to build the stadium with the casino resort it just feels so high that I think it's got to happen. Like, they're not just going to give that up.
Yeah, like that's the Yahtzee for them, right? Like when you all the dice line up, it's like that. They got to have that. They're going to keep rolling until they get it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep,
that's happening.
Coming up, let's talk about the Mavs against the Knicks. What went wrong in that third quarter? What went right? How did they stick with them in the first half? We'll explain that and more coming up. Sever your brains. It's the official Locked On Mavs severance game recap for the Dallas Mavericks. We come in, we separate our brains. We are excited for the Mavs as they play, and then we separate our brains, and our outies will be frustrated and upset with everything else that's going on with this team. Naji Marshall, we already talked about his game. Absolutely incredible. Great. He needed to be the first guy we talked about. Brandon Williams, 22 points off the bench, 7 of 11 from the field. He's only got, 4 or 5 games, maybe 3 games left on his two-way. He's shown some stuff, man. Like, he has been, I think he's been great. You could tell he's gone to the Kyrie school of finishing and drives in the lane and all that kind of stuff. He just looks confident. And it is wild how much better he has been than Jaden Hardy, who played in the Western Conference Finals and was helpful in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Yeah, I mean, Hardy had a pretty good scoring game tonight, efficiency-wise, at least 15 points. 7 of those in the fourth quarter. I was going to say,
yeah.
7 of those in the fourth quarter.
His third quarter was absolutely awful.
So so I was wondering, the eye test for me was like, God, he fouls 3-point shooters what feels like such a disproportionate amount for somebody with his amount of minutes. One of my community members, Melvick, looked it up, and he's, I think, 8th is what the current number is in really? 3-point fouls committed per minute. And I mean, the list isn't great. You're talking about really young guys or bad players straight up on this list. So that feels like, man, how are we still fouling guys? It does feel like it's almost once a game where he's fouling a 3-point shooter. And it's just like, how are we doing this? Like those are the defensive miscues you can't have. Like, getting beat off the dribble is one thing.
And those things is why he doesn't get minutes in high leverage games, but he did get those minutes last year in the playoffs. Like, it was just it's very strange that he has not taken even a step forward. It feels like he's taking a step back. And I know growth is not always linear. He takes a step back to take a step forward. But, man, there have been games when he just doesn't look good, like dribbling confidence-wise or anything. That some games, he had 24 the other night where he looked solid. He was getting his shot off and all that kind of stuff. But Brandon Williams, though, let's talk about him because I thought he's just looked so good. And I think that the Mavs have to figure out a way to keep him.
Yeah, so admittedly, I probably should have known this, but I just learned it today that when these guys' games go out, they just go to the G League. So it's not like
they can't even practice.
Yeah, but it's not like the Mavs have just like lost them and they're gone. Like they're forced to retire or something. So I guess the plan
done. They just got to go. Yeah. You guys got to go home.
Your career's over.
Got to go somewhere. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
That's right. So I wonder what's the date? April 10th is the date, and then if they wait till April 12th, they can sign two of them.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's the plan for Kessler Edwards, and then they just sort of strategically place Brandon Williams games because I think he's played well enough that it's been eye opening enough that it's almost like we got to keep this guy on our team. Like we don't want him just to leave. We have to keep him. Kessler is another thing where I think you look at your situation, not just now, but in the next year and be like, I don't know if there's realistically, it would be the same thing as this year where it's like, okay, if we're in January and Kessler Edwards playing for us next year, we are in some deep trouble yet again. Whereas Brandon Williams with Kyrie out and Spence being a free agent, Exum being a free agent. There's a world, I guess, where Brandon Williams is like a third guard off the bench. Hardy's future definitely in limbo. I would say he's easily a trade candidate in the summer. Yeah, so
just to probably pad salary in that one.
Yeah.
This has been the best group of two-way guys the Mavs have ever had. Brandon Williams, Kessler Edwards, Kai Jones.
I'd be interested in a historical comparison across the league, honestly.
Forever?
I don't think it would be the most ever, but I feel like you getting this level of production from all of your two-way guys, like all three of them, is pretty rare. Now, it'd have to be circumstances like the Mavs where everybody is injured. And I bet if you go back to the Grizzlies last year, they were able to pull it off. But
yeah, they had a lot of guys.
Because Scottie Pippen was a two-way guy, I'm pretty sure. Kind of want to say Vince Williams Jr. was, but I could be wrong on that.
I got Hoops Hype, the best most successful players on a two-way contract ever. They published this a year ago.
Okay.
Austin Reeves, tough.
Okay. Yeah, that one's pretty hard to beat.
Duncan Robinson. Alex Caruso.
So I'm more saying like collectively all three.
Yeah. So I mean, what I wasn't Austin Reeves for the Lakers. Caruso was for the Lakers too, right?
Not at the same time.
Maybe not. Not at the same time. Nas Reed was a two-way guy. Lou Dort was a two-way guy. Our own Caleb Martin was a two-way guy at one point.
Yeah.
Max Strus, George Niang. Yeah, so I don't know about collectively everybody all on one team, but this is the best group the Mavs have ever had for sure.
Oh, definitely. And I feel like the Mavs historically have not gotten a lot. I just haven't taken it that seriously. I almost kind of remember it being kind of like a frustration point at times, being like, why don't they put players that they actually see potential in on their two ways? It felt like I remember when they put AJ Lawson on a two-way, it was like a celebratory moment because it was like, oh,
yes, the guy could play.
Yes, a guy who feels like he has some legit upside in the league, finally on a two-way contract. So,
they would take chances on guys. Like I guess Brandon Williams was a guy they took a chance on that we didn't feel like was ready, and maybe he just took another year to figure out how he was ready. And he's been way better than he was last year. But they had Greg Brown last year, Alex Fudge. We were like, okay, I don't really see how those guys can play. You think about some of the guys they had before. McKinley Wright, he played for a while. Chris Silva, was Tyler Dorsey on a two-way? I guess Theo Pinson was on a two-way that year.
Tyler Dorsey was on a two-way, had to have been.
Yeah. But I mean, Tyler Dorsey, I guess, was a player you thought could play. Moses Brown.
I completely forgot about the Tyler Dorsey thing. Was that last year?
No, it was 2 years ago.
Oh, man, I remember that. We were like, Tyler Dorsey's been balling overseas.
But he had that game for Greece where he just hit like 7 threes, and we were like, okay, you better watch out for this guy on the Mavericks next year.
Yeah, I totally forgot about him. That's hilarious.
This is where we are. We're watching the two-way guys. We're seeing where they are. Kessler Edwards, his last one. What have you seen from Kessler Edwards the last 50 games he had?
Man, I'm a little disappointed tonight, right? He didn't play well. Didn't get a shot up. 19 minutes. I was kind of hoping they would just do sort of a celebratory send off for him and give him 35 minutes. But my honest to God guess would be that they're probably hoping to keep him around come April 12th. Would be sort of, maybe there's already an under the table agreement with the agent, just like, hey, stick around, like give it a couple weeks and we'll sign you.
What do you think he shot from 3 this season?
Well, I know the number was in the high 40s, I think, over the last 10 games.
40.7%. He only took 54 in 39 games. But
that's not terrible.
It's not bad.
And his shot progressively looked more and more confident. That was the thing the entire time, was like, he just has to shoot. He can't not shoot. He has to shoot. I think he, whether it's with the Mavs or not, I think he did enough for teams to look around, teams that are desperate for wings, like end of rotation guys, to look at Kessler Edwards as somebody who could probably fill in that role for them.
And he started 23 games for Brooklyn in 2022. He played 54 games for Sacramento last year. Like, he's been an NBA player before and shown stuff to teams before. And so you have at least a track record for him that he can continue this. It wasn't just a hot, stretch where he was playing out of position, where he can only play a small ball 5, and that's where he could be effective, but anywhere else he wouldn't be. So yeah, I'm with you. I liked what I saw. The hustle plays, I think he's been part of this Mavs team that has just been fighting, that everybody's talked about, that AD thought was so admirable that he wanted to come back and play. Yeah.
And I think moving forward, just across the league, the way that the second apron works, the way that the first apron works as well, in terms of just limiting how you can build a roster, hitting on two-way guys is going to become a thing that is important for teams.
It's kind of a draft pick.
Yeah, it's exactly. And it's just this very cheap, hey, in a pinch, can you play 20, 25 minutes for me in a game? And I'm not like, I'm watching the pathetic Suns play. Colin Gillespie is like starting games for them now.
Yeah, he is.
Like that's something that they've hit on, and he's been pretty good for them. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say props to the front office because people are going to take that. But I feel like they did do a good job with the lottery. They did do that. That's a hilarious soundbite. They did do a good job with these two-way guys, admittedly.
Yeah. You gotta.
Would you, all three of them will be on an NBA team next year, I would say.
Yeah, Kai Jones has shown enough. He got destroyed by Cat tonight, but yeah,
defensively he struggles.
Who doesn't? But yeah, he's shown a lot. Brandon Williams has shown a lot. Kessler Edwards has shown a lot. Like, they all should be NBA players, I think.
Yeah. So if that's it for Kessler Edwards, genuinely thank you. Like, that was very admirable what you did for the Mavs.
Should we salute him? now he's done. Kessler Edwards, your watch has ended.
Your watch has ended, and really, you'll always have a special place in my heart for what you did this year.
Oh, what a time. What a time is such as this. Go check out Slightly Biased, great YouTube channel, all kinds of great stuff. Again, April 8th, we have the live show. Don't embarrass us. Show up. Show up. Let's get the whole Raccoon squad there to hang out and commiserate about this Luka Doncic return game.
I'm laughing because if you would have played that clip just a second ago where we're saluting Kessler Edwards earlier in the season, I would have thought we were doing a bit.
Like, we legitimately meant it. We legitimately meant it. That was not a bit.
That was not. That was truthful.
We'll be back with more episodes throughout the week, and we're gonna have Tim McMahon on.
Oh no!
we're bringing him on.
I'm gonna be associated with the backlash of this.
He in one of his messages to us, he said, "Thanks for taking a chance on me." So we'll have that later in the week. We'll have more episodes, more post games with me and Slightly. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
Let's go Rangers.
Two-time.
Don't trade Corey Seager.